Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on Their Fight Story. I have Ross Hylton with us. How are you doing today, Ross?
Doing great. Ras, by the way, sorry. Just got to fix that real quick. Everybody does it, though. Don't feel bad.
Oh, it's Rash?
Ras, R-A-S.
Ras. Oh, you know what? What did I say? Ross.
Yeah. I hear, so funny story. My first name is 3 letters, R-A-S. I've probably heard more than half a dozen pronunciations for that. It's pretty common.
You know what the funny thing is? I knew it was Ras, but so I don't even know why I even said that. It's all good.
All the time. My coach actually, Rayo, I had corrected him a few times, and then like slowly over time, he slowly just started mispronouncing it again. And then recently somebody else said it in front of me. I was like, wait, did I do that again? It happens. I don't know why. It's just odd for English speakers, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. It is what it is. Well, thank you for not being offended. How did you start in MMA?
Karate do. I was working my way up through Shotokan after I'd already been through a couple of different systems over the course of my life. And a big thing for me is being able to teach when I'm no longer able to be young enough and healthy enough to do the fun part, so to speak. I want to make sure that when I do get to that point, that the information that I have is valid and I'm able to pass on techniques and ways of being that are not going to be detrimental to my future students. Excuse me. But yeah, that really is it. I ended up meeting my best friend and kind of a brother now, Nick Gully, at a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, the main skirmish. And after we had already met a couple of times for some fusion fights up at the Battle of Maine. And after I think we competed together 3 or 4 times, when we finally met at the skirmish that time, he said, you know, if you're really serious about getting into MMA, we do live sparring up at First Class in Brunswick. You should drop in and see how you like it. So I got in contact with John Rayo, and after one session in, I knew that I had found where I needed to be. I was already training at Dragonfire Martial Arts with Shihan Andy Campbell. We had already talked about going full contact, and kickboxing really isn't around up here as far north as we are. And MMA just seemed like the best place to cut my teeth and figure out what from traditional martial arts we can apply in more realistic scenarios and what parts of the art are maintained and why. So it's really helping me to dissect my traditional material and place and categorize what it is that I'm working with. It's constantly an evolving and beautiful process. And even with all the ups and downs that come with it, I absolutely love it. I wouldn't change a thing.
Now, where'd you get your name? The Jamaican Shamrock?
Yes. So even my cage persona, I guess you could call it, has a full name. It's Rasquatch the Jamaican Shamrock. And as I mentioned, I go to 2 different academies for my training, and each one came up with their own. Rasquatch came pretty organically. We were joking around about the Jack Lynx thing and messing with Sasquatch, and then my Shihan turns around and he says, "Wait, we're messing with Rasquatch." And it immediately came in from there. We busted out laughing, and that was my cage name from there. And shortly thereafter, due to my ethnic heritage, Rayo had just come up to me and asked what I thought about the Jamaican Shamrock. And I kind of just wondered at it for a second, and then he explained, because I have a mix of Jamaican and Irish heritage, and he had trained with Marcus Davis for a while, who's the Irish hand grenade. So just having that inspiration, he felt like Jamaican Shamrock clicked, and I absolutely loved it. And I couldn't really settle on one. Nobody could really settle on one. I think we did a random voting thing on Facebook one time, but I can't get rid of it. So now I am Rasquatch the Jamaican Shamrock.
I love it. I love it.
Thank
I knew
you.
there had to be some sort of background behind it, so I'm like, I need to find out.
Yep. I've got 7 legal names, and now I just needed to add them.
So the last time before COVID hit, you fought earlier this year.
It was Terrence Jean-Jacques for Premier Fighting Championship down in Massachusetts. That was for a cruiserweight title fight.
Yeah.
And he ended up, the ref stopped it. It was a sub in round 2 due to an RNC. Not one of my happiest moments, but definitely one of my best fights. It was a good time.
Since you had that fight, and then you fought again in Bellator.
Yep.
How was the environment?
I just think fighting for Bellator was just a really surreal experience. It was the first time that I had fought without an audience.
Yeah.
It was the first time that I had been in a cage that big, 30 feet across. So, I mean, I'm 6.5 feet tall, and I've never really had room to move. So I actually mentioned this during the interview. I feel like having an experience like that sans audience, I was really able to acclimate to my environment with as few distractions as possible. So I didn't have to actively focus. It was just, here it is, and see what happens.
And how was your training camp for it?
I wasn't in camp.
Okay.
I was, during the first couple of months of COVID, when we were all quarantined and there was absolutely nothing happening, all the gyms and businesses were shut down, it turned out to be a really great time for reflection. And I, prior to the Terrence fight, I met my newest brother, Crisaro, who put me out last September. It's been almost a year to the day that we met, and ironically enough, became best friends ever since then. We had been sharpening each other and working, and I'd been working with his coach. I've been working with my coaches, and whatever training partners that I could guarantee were in a closed circle so that we could minimize the possibility of anything coming in. Mm-hmm. I was just trying to develop myself to the best possible level that I could be at, because I felt that whatever happened next, I had to be able to hit the next level, and I had to be able to prove that what I'm doing is worthwhile to me. There's obviously a lot of people who support me, and my family, friends, businesses, my training partners, my coaches. There's a lot of people who I'm looking to help and to give back to. But more than anything, I have to prove that when I am that crazy old man, wherever I'm teaching, that what I'm doing is worthwhile. And I've likened fighting in a cage to playing with a chemistry set. And you've got this set environment to work with. It's a controlled environment. There's a ref, there's 2 opponents, there's rules, and you get the same pieces to work with every time. There are different ways to put them together, but they're all going to add up to your road to success. And I really have been able to let the creative juices flow, and I've had a lot of information to work with, and it was just the perfect time. And now we get to see what's happening.
You just fought, and now you're going to be fighting again.
Yep.
How does that feel?
So obviously I'm not disappointed at all. I get to fight for Bellator, which has been a dream of mine ever since I was an amateur. The one less than perfect thing is I was desperately hoping to be able to fight on the same card as Lyoto Machida, because we are both Shotokan stylists. Oh. And I'm still keeping my fingers crossed and hoping that I can just somehow run into him and have that fanboy moment. But regardless, it's an absolutely amazing experience. And yeah, I get to fight for Bellator. What more can I say? I mean, this is what it's all about.
How are things over in Maine as far as like the schools and everything opening up? Like, are you having more ability, or is it still very restricted? And
As far as training goes, obviously things are still somewhat restricted. We're limited on who to interact with and how many. So I've been very, very adamant about maintaining closed circles and making sure that I just work with who is within my size category and whoever keeps a closed circle, because if I end up with COVID, I can't fight. And that's not something that I'm willing to deal with right now. So, um, yeah, it's just a lot of constant communication and making sure that everybody's monitoring and maintaining what we have. Wife was my first manager and always will be the best part of my management team.
that is the best thing you can have, let me tell you. She has your back.
And she just got her hair did. Hey, baby.
Oh, hi.
Woo! Looking fabulous, I see.
Thank you very much. We're about to go out to dinner, so.
Nice.
And your name?
Adalia.
Adalia. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely a team here. Here's a bag. These
Yeah, she does my shirts. She does the tie-dye.
We make the shirts from scratch.
She's been, before I even started, we sat down and talked about how serious I was about doing it, and we decided that it was going to be our thing, all or nothing. Let's see how high I can go with this, and let's see how far I can take it, and come hell or high water, it's getting done. I love it.
It's awesome. And as long as she's always in your corner, that's really all that matters. So you're always winning.
Honestly, the only real downside to the last fight and this one is the fact that I don't have her there with me. I've had her and our daughter Geneva there for every fight up until Rudy Shafroth. And that's really the only downside of things. That was the first. I've never taken a fight on 3 days' notice. So that was crazy.
You did take it on 2 weeks.
2 weeks is one thing, but 3 days notice was something else completely. And her keeping my records in order and staying organized, being in the medical field, she was able to put all the paperwork through to make sure that we could get the Shafroth fight in less than 6 hours. She had everything to the folks at Bellator that needed to be there. And after all of that, couldn't join me for the experience. So other than that, I'd say absolutely everything has just been a very surreal and crazy yet perfect experience.
I know you guys got to get going. I hope you guys enjoy your date. And look forward to seeing your fight.
You see her. Of course I'm going to enjoy it.
I love it. I love it.
I always do.
Do you have any last words that you would like to share with everybody?
Thank you. Obviously, this is a great time to be with family because there's little else to do. But the fact that people are taking the time out of their lives to make this show happen, the fact that they could be doing absolutely anything on a Saturday night and they decided to watch Bellator. I get to lead off the show again on the prelim card. I'm so grateful to my management team, Full Contact Management with Travis Lestat, Laura Borson, Steve Domenico, my coaches, my training partners, my family, my sponsors. Wow, sorry, the list is absolutely insane. But PNC, Portland Nutrition Corner, Maine, right up here on Western Ave in South Portland. Pay Engines is a recent and very fantastic sponsor who I think everybody should be checking out right now. Jacked and Jilled, the hat that I started off with this evening, is personal training and fitness center right down the road from the dojo, Dragonfire Martial Arts right here. First Class MMA is my gym in Brunswick, and they're absolutely fantastic as well. Ryan's Own Beef Jerky. If you want beef jerky, look up Ryan's Own Beef Jerky on Facebook. It is the best you're going to have, period, hands down. At this point, I would like to start naming individuals on a very long span, but it takes a village to raise a child is one of the old adages.
You're a big
And
child.
I am 6.5 feet tall, a very happy kid right now. And I'm thankful for the fact that I have a very large village that is very far reaching. I've got friends and family and fans all over the Northeast, from all the karate schools, all the MMA gyms, and just there are just so many people who have made this experience possible. And I couldn't be more grateful or more pleased. And I'm really excited to be able to put on what I feel is going to be the best performance of my career thus far. And thus far, because I got a long way to go.
That's great. And you have your wife right there with you no matter what. So it's going to be a beautiful journey.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all your sponsors. Thank you to all of the people that have been supporting you and being with you. And we continue to look forward to your journey and everything that you have coming.
Many, many fights to come. Keep watching. I'll always go out on my shield or carrying it out.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. Enjoy your date.
Thank you. Have a great night, Adalia.
Thank you, you too. Bye.